Hello, viewers. My name is Spencer Strott. Most of you know me by the name of Lifestealer58, and welcome to an enchantment episode. I promised this last episode. Well, I don't know if I promised it, but I said that I was probably going to do it, and I am. As you can tell, I actually haven't finished the room yet. I'm planning to do that on a stream eventually at some point, but I'm going to break this up into 3 segments of making this entire episode slash video. One, we're going to do what we're about to do right now. I'm just going to sit there and kind of explain the best enchantments, why enchanted, what it does, etc. And after that, after this segment, I should say, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test them and experiment with them and exactly show them what they mean. I also will tell you guys the damage and stuff because I had my good friend Schlegel My Bagel, link in the description, help me. Whenever I say link in the description, it's because I put his channel in the description. So you'll see that in action, and I will have more explanations about the gear and tools, etc. And then after that, I'm going to show you guys just like a screenshot of what I would organize from most valuable to least valuable enchantment-wise for your own sake, and I will probably organize it by most likely the average survival player compared to the average PvP player or whatever. So it will all make sense in the end. But first off, let's get into this. So these are the absolute best enchantments for you, well, every item that you can get that you can see. However, some of them can be argued with the notes, but I'll talk about notes in a little bit. Wow, that portal's really loud. Okay, so let's start off with the swords. So I have 3 swords here, and the absolute best sword you can get is Unbreaking 3, Sharpness 5, Fire Aspect 2, Mending, Loot 3, and Knockback 2. Now the reason why I have 3 listed is I have 3 that I want. As you can see by this right here, we have all the gear that is enchanted. Actually, this is a bad example. Let's go here. This is all the gear that's enchanted that I enchanted and wanted. And the swords, the reason why I have so many is, one, I don't really like knockback, which is why I made a sword with everything but knockback on it. I wanted a sword with knockback too, just in case, you know, something goes wrong, or I do need it for some weird reason, so I have that. I also have this meant for Enderman, and the reason why I have this is because knockback with Enderman is really exhausting and horrible to use. As well as Fire Aspect, it just doesn't work against them because the Endermen freak out with fire and teleport everywhere. So I have an exclusive sword for Enderman. So as you can see, these are the best enchantment, but this right here, if you want every single enchantment that you can possibly get for a sword, this is it. Unbreaking 3, Sharpness 5, Fire Aspect 2, Mending, Loot 3, and Knockback 2. Now let's talk about pickaxes. So the enchantments are the exact same, Efficiency 5, Unbreaking 3, and Mending. You can get those on both types of pickaxes. The one difference is Fortune 3 and Silk Touch. Again, I explain later in this video what it is and what it does, so just stay tuned for that, but just telling you this is the best enchantment you can get. You choose Fortune or Silk Touch, that's the difference between these. Shovels, axes, and shears all get the same enchantment, which is Mending, Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 5, so that's why I only have a picture of a shovel, and I explain and demonstrate that. That's pretty simple. The only 3 enchantments for this. Bows are kind of complex. So bow, Power 5, Punch 2, Flame, Mending, and Unbreaking 3 is the best bow, or Power 5, Flame, Punch 2, Infinity, Unbreaking 3 is the best bow. So the reason why you can't stack Mending and Infinity, I don't know. It's probably because it would be just too overpowered, to be honest. That's the only thing that I can think of. But no, you can unfortunately not stack Mending and Infinity. So that's kind of too bad. But yeah, so you need to choose between Infinity or Mending, just like you need to choose between Fortune and Silk Touch. And then you get to the armor. So I'm going to start with the chest plate and leggings because that's the simplest. You can only get Protection 4, which is the max protection you can possibly get, Unbreaking 3, and Mending. But let's start with the boots. Feather Falling 4 is the best you can get, Depth Strider 3, Protection 4, Mending 1, or just Mending I should say, and then Unbreaking 3, that's the best boots you can get. However, you can also substitute Depth Strider for, where is it? Frostwalker, there we go. I have these notes here, which is why I'm looking. And then on the helmet, you also have Aqua Infinity, which increases your breathing time. Yeah, it increases your breathing time. You have Protection 4, which increases your protection. Mending, Unbreaking 3, and Respiration, which makes it easier to see underwater, as well as you breathe longer underwater. So here are some additional notes. Protection 4 is better than Projectile Protection and Blast Protection. Did I read that correctly? Yeah, I did. Okay. Just making sure. They can't stack. And what I mean by they can't stack is you can't have Protection 4 and also have Projectile Protection, or Protection 4 and also Blast Protection. The reason why Protection 4 is the best is because it works against all stuff. Blast Protection obviously works against things that blast you, and Projectile Protection works against people who attack you with arrows or skeletons and stuff. Protection just is all around better because it works for everything. So that's why. Frostwalker can be subbed out for Depth Strider, as I previously stated. Infinity and Mending cannot stack. attack as well. And do not use thorns, and that's very important. And the reason why I don't suggest using thorns is, according to my research that I've done for this, thorns actually reduces the durability, and for those of you who don't know, it means like how long it lasts. As you can see by this chest plate, it's halfway done with its durability. The more I use it, or the more I get attacked, the more the durability will go down. With thorns, I think actually either doubles or triples the amount of durability it takes. So for my research, everyone just said thorns is not worth it, and I agree if it does reduce your durability. And honestly, thorns is really useful for PvP, and chances are you're not going to be PvPing too much in the average Minecraft world, and even if you are, it's just really not worth it. Thorns is a kind of like a meh type of thing anyways, and it just reduces everything, all the valuable stuff. So now I'm going to transition to my time with Schlegel and us experimenting and demonstrating the tools. And then after I do that, I'm going to show you guys a clip and organize these by the most valuable thing that I would suggest you organizing or getting to the least. And anyways, here it is with Schlegel and I testing this out. Wait, with me testing. I messed up grammar. Grammar is important, ladies and gentlemen. Schlegel and me testing this out. That's right? I am oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Just skip on. Well, you'll understand what I'm saying, even though it's incorrect. I failed it twice because I said two completely different sentences. Alright, and we are here with my test dummy, aka Schlegel My Bagel. He volunteered to let me sacrifice him because he's so kind and wonderful. Schlegel My Bagel also has a YouTube channel. The reason why I'm doing this is not because of his YouTube channel, but he makes really cool freestyle rap videos, and he's really talented. No, I'm just kidding. He does gaming stuff as well, so I'll link it down in the description if any of you are interested. So, Schlegel, are you ready to be experimented with? We're not going to do too much, but basically what I'm going to do is discuss every single aspect of every single enchanted gear, because these are the best enchantments, as I previously stated in this video. And I'm just going to kind of test basically the ones I can test. All of them are pretty self-explanatory. For example, efficiency is obviously you mine faster, and that works on a lot of stuff. But I'm going to start off with the most popular enchants and then do individual enchantments. So let me start off with something that you can do on every single item, armor, etc., and that is Unbreaking. And Unbreaking is self-explanatory pretty much. Basically all it does is make every single item that you enchant it with last longer. So I think I'm not 100% certain, but I think with a normal diamond pickaxe you can mine around 1200 blocks. Unbreaking increases that amount. So Unbreaking works on anything, whether it be shovels, shears, bows, swords, doesn't matter, it works. Efficiency, which works on pickaxes, shovels, axes, shears for some weird reason, I guess for mining wool, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's all for efficiency. Increases the speed. So let me show you with dirt. I've actually never tested an efficiency 5 shovel. I'm pretty sure it's going to be faster than I expect. But yeah, you've probably used this, haven't you? An efficiency 5 shovel, yeah. Schlegel? Okay, well here. This is just a normal diamond shovel, right? You know, actually let me get closer so it looks more realistic. Okay, not bad. Okay, now let's do the efficiency 5. It's too fast. Okay, let me just try on the dirt actually, because I'm probably not going to save this world or save this part. Okay, so that's you know, that's not bad. Now let's try efficiency 5. So you can definitely tell there's a mining difference with efficiency 5. It mines almost too fast to even use. Holy moly. Okay, that's what efficiency does. Oh, I forgot to mention Mending. Mending can also work on every single thing, and Mending is always one of those things that people are like, what is it? Because it's very rare, and whenever people hear about it, they don't know what it is because it's that rare. So Mending, basically what it does is it takes the experience you gain, whether it's from killing monsters, getting the iron ingots out of a furnace that you smelted, doesn't matter, any way you can get XP, it repairs that tool or armor or whatever you use to enchant it with. So it's basically makes everything last forever as long as you're getting XP. A great way to do this is going to like a mob grinder if you've made one, or go fishing. It also repairs it because you get XP for killing mobs obviously, and XP for fishing. So it essentially just makes your tools last forever. It's a really good enchantment, hence which is why it's rare. I set up the AFK fishing farm, and if I did it with just myself, I would say I averaged about one enchantment book every 12 hours if I was by myself. Sorry, one enchanted mending book every 12 hours if I was by myself. However, I set up 3 accounts for the AFK fishing farm, and I got 1 for every 4 hours. And obviously, if you do the math, 4 times 3, 4 being the amount of hours, times 3 being the players, that would equal 12. So that's how I did the math. So it takes about 12 hours solo of the AFK fishing farm, which is how I got all my books mending and enchanted this, for 1 mending book. So it's pretty insane, but it's worth it. And I also enchanted an unusual amount of gear. So let's talk about everything else. So efficiency we talked about unbreaking, we talked about mending. You can pretty much only get those three on shovel, axes, and shears. And then on a hoe, I just put unbreaking 3 as well as mending. And let's talk about pickaxes, because this is pretty important. Fortune basically makes you more fortunate. That's how I remember it. So anything that you mine where it drops something, such as diamonds, I believe it works with redstone, I know it works with coal, it increases the chances of you getting more from it. So if you mine a diamond ore with a regular diamond pickaxe, what it does is it drops 1 diamond. And then if you mine it coal, it usually drops 1 piece of coal. However, if you have fortune, there's a chance where it could drop like 2, 3, maybe even 4, maybe 5. It just increases the amount you can get from an ore. It doesn't always work, but sometimes does. It's more RNG, aka the Fortnite style, as I like to refer to it as. So I know you like that, Schlegel. But it increases the chances. So this is 100% recommended pickaxe if you're just like playing a normal survival world. This is what I would go for because this gets the biggest bang for your buck. Silk Touch is something that you get exactly what you mine. For example, if you were to mine a dirt block, for example, it would turn immediately into dirt. It wouldn't have a grass block on it. But if you mine it with Silk Touch, although I don't recommend using Silk Touch pickaxe for mining dirt, but if you mine it with it, it turns into a grass block. So you can also add Silk Touch to a shovel, but I don't really recommend it because I just don't really see the point in that. But you can, so as you can see, I got this from Silk Touch. So whatever you mine is what you get. If you mine diamond ore with a Silk Touch pickaxe, you get that diamond ore. So it basically just is taking the block and using it. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if it works in grass. Yeah, I would be surprised if it works in grass, but that's Silk Touch. What else? Okay, now we get into the fun part. Testing the power of this bow. Okay? So, are you ready, Schlegel? I want you to tell me how many hearts this does. To explain to the people watching and Schlegel, I'm using a Mending 1, which will not affect the damage, Unbreaking 3, which will not affect the damage, Punch 2, which will affect the knockback, Power 5, which is the damage, and then Flame 1, which is to set him on fire. So, are you ready? This is going to be a full charge shot. Tell me how many hearts you get, okay, Schlegel? Ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. How many hearts?
3 left. So
3
7.
left. Okay, 7 hearts. Okay, so that's the maximum amount of damage you can do. Distance does not affect it, I believe. Like here, let me actually go further back, like way over here. Same amount.
Actually, no. It
did less.
No, it did more. I had 1.5.
Wait a minute. I'm learning something. I thought I knew this. Does distance... Hang on. Let me get really far back. I wonder if distance does... Yeah, I see that leaf. I wonder if distance does matter. Do you have full health now?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'm bad. You saw nothing. Did that go over you?
Mm-hmm.
How many hearts?
Okay, now it did 2.5.
Okay, maybe it's a bit random. Or maybe it's because it's peaceful and it's hard to tell. Oh well, it does a lot of damage. That's the point. If I were to like combo him, attack him, and then fire a bow, which I'm not going to because I don't want to kill him, but that would probably one-shot him if I attacked him with a sword or something. So yeah, it's a very powerful bow. Obviously, I would suggest using these for mobs. Now let's do the life starter sword. So here's the actually wait, no. We'll save the sword for last. So I want to talk about armor. Again, I didn't really need too much. Did you place these flowers? Okay. So, let's talk about armor. So the only armor enchantments you can get for a chestplate and leggings is Protection 4, which is the max protection value, Unbreaking 3, which is the max unbreaking, obviously, and Mending. But however, the boots and helmet get a little more complex. So basically, this is the most overpowered helmet you can get. You have Aqua Infinity 1, Respiration 3, Protection 4, Mending 1, Unbreaking 3. So Aqua Infinity means that you breathe, if I'm correct. Let me double check this actually. Allows the wearer of an enchanted helm mine break blocks faster underwater. So actually, let's test this real quick. So I'm under here, I'm mining this sand. Let's see, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, about 5 seconds. Oh, that was clay. Whoops. Okay, let's mine sand actually. Let's make sure this is sand. That's clay. Okay, let's test this. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. If I put on the helmet, let's test this. 1 Mississippi. It's 1 Mississippi. So it's about 5 times faster mining underwater. That's what Aqua Infinity does. Now, Respiration, if you go underwater without a helmet, I'm currently not wearing a helmet, you'll notice that the bubbles representing my breathing time or air, whatever you want to call it, is going down quite quickly, and I will eventually drown if I stick down here. However, the beauty of Respiration is increases the time underwater. So I would recommend getting Respiration if you're constantly working underwater and mining underwater. I would obviously recommend Aqua Infinity, but it just makes it easier. Like, look how long I can stay under here. And why is it so bright down here? Did they update, like, the visuals? It looks surprising. Wait, does it make it easier to see? What? I feel stupid now. I feel like I don't deserve to make a video on this. Wait. Is it it's gotta be Respiration. Huh. Well, then definitely get this. If you are working underwater. Wow, that's a huge difference. And now I feel super dumb. Okay, well, yeah, you can see the difference in the background here. Look at that. That's actually mind-blowing. Now, I've never noticed that because I don't build enough underwater. But yeah, recommend this if you do build underwater. Wow. It said how long you can breathe underwater, and it also helps you see better underwater. Who knew? Okay, you were definitely placing these flowers. 100%.
No.
Anyways, it's nighttime. Let's move on. So that's what Helmet does. Helmet is great for working underwater. Now let's talk about Enchanted Boots. So let's start off with the Depth Strider. It's basically Depth Strider, you just move faster in water. That's pretty much it. Whether it's underwater, whether it's on water. Here's me without it. You know, pretty slow, pretty annoying. However, if I put my boots on, check this out. Whee! It goes so much faster. It's almost like you're running on water. You go way faster with it. Like here, Schlegel, let's race. Jump in this water and go straight.
Alright.
Okay, 3. I'll let you get a head start. You go first, towards the castle. Go.
Okay.
Okay. But with Depth Strider, you can just go right next to him and be like, haha, you don't have cool boots like me. And then you can just look around and just shake your head no at them because they don't have cool boots like you. So yeah, I would recommend getting... yeah. So I would recommend getting Depth Strider if you are around water a lot and if you're playing solo. Because if you're solo, you don't... Okay, now there's a tree here, Schlegel. It's very obvious. The tree definitely gave it away. That awkward moment when someone's right outside your house and you're constantly talking. Really awkward. Anyways, though, we're going to pretend that he can't hear us, even though I know he can. So, hello, my family friend. Anyways, so yeah, I 100% recommend getting these for playing solo. However... the reason why I say solo is because a better enchantment for boots is actually Frostwalker, and let me explain why. Frostwalker is also kind of a rare enchantment, not something you can easily get, but Frostwalker, what it does is anything that you run, it turns into ice immediately. It does make your world kind of messy, and this seems like something, whoa, this is amazing, but in my opinion, it gets quite annoying to use. But yeah, it is something that is kind of useful for walking around with groups. Obviously, if you jump, it's not going to affect anything. Like if I jump over here, I jump straight into the water. Height, it won't stop. Like you'll fall straight down. If I were to jump from there into the water, it would obviously make me sink in. So you always need to run. You can't sprint jump or anything like that, unfortunately, with these, but you always need to run. So let me go back over here with Schlegel. Schlegel, come back if you don't mind. So the reason why I say it's a group, because as you can see, as I tested with Schlegel, I was much faster with Depth Strider. But if I'm like, okay, Schlegel, let's go over to that mountain and mine, if he sticks right behind me, he can easily, well, he's not following me, and I also sprint jumped, so that was a bad example, but he can easily follow me, because I'm essentially creating blocks for him to run around on. So this is a great way to travel with a group if you have Frostwalker. Besides that, I don't really see the appeal to it because I don't like the mess, and especially if you're working around the edges of water, it's just going to turn everything to ice, and it is a little annoying to deal with. It is visually cool, and again, highly recommended if you are playing with a group. But if you're playing solo, I'll just stick with a Depth Strider. It's more useful all around. But hey, if you're more of a team player / group player, go for these. So yeah, it does create quite a mess, but it will eventually melt.
And
then
I noticed the ice that you created with Frostwalker, it melted day
It melted
when the
in the
day
day?
came. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. That's a good point. That makes more logical sense in Minecraft. Because see, you can see. I'm telling you guys, Minecraft is the most realistic game out there. um, all right, and then the last thing, which is on both of my boots, but this is called feather falling. So let me pull out my notes for this one because I wrote this down. So the max height, which is this tower, it should be at least, is 22 blocks. And if you fall from 22 blocks, you go down to half of a heart, at least you should. And starts at 5 blocks where you start taking fall damage. If you start at 5 blocks and fall down, you'll take half a heart. And every 2 blocks or every odd number that you go up, you will lose another half a heart. So if at 5 blocks, you lose half a heart. 7, which is 2 more, which is also an odd number, you lose a full heart. 9, you lose a heart and a half. 11, you get the idea. So basically, if you fall all the way up here, I should, again, if I did this correctly, this should be 22 blocks. It might be 21. I might have messed up the count, but I should fall down to a heart / half a heart, which is 22 blocks. And so without feather falling boots, I should almost die. Let's test this. They're half a heart, so that's a max height you can fall 22. However, let's say I have just feather falling boots with no protection 4. What it will do is it will make me lose 4.5 hearts instead of 9.5 hearts. So feather falling is really, really good. And then if you have protection 4 on top of feather falling, excuse me. Yeah, protection 4. I was right. I messed up. If you have feather falling plus protection 4 on your boots, you only lose 3 hearts, so that reduces it by 1. And then everyone has always said to me that, oh, all armor, full diamond armor actually reduces how much fall damage you take. And that is actually false. The boots matter a lot with fall damage, but what really matters is protection. And what I mean by that is if you have protection for boots, let's say, and feather falling, and then you just have regular diamond armor, it's not going to reduce the damage. However, if you have protection 4 on all of your gear, such as your helmet, your chest plate, your boots, as well as your leggings, for whatever reason, the protection registers that as, well, protection, and it actually reduces the fall damage. So with this full OP armor that I have, the best armor I can have, excluding thorns, and I explained at the beginning of the video why I did not like thorns and why I do not use it, but this is the best thing. So if I have this on, I will only lose a heart and a half. Wait, 1.5 hearts with a full diamond armor and feather falling boots. That's how much I lose. So it is pretty, actually, let me just test it, because why not, since I have the gear. And then what's also really cool about having this OP gear, aka protection. Wait, I don't have protect. Oh, I have the wrong helmet on. My bad. There we go. Okay. So the nice thing about this is I actually tested this. If you have this good of a gear, which is very difficult and rare to get, which is protection 4 on everything else is kind of irrelevant and optional, but you can fall up to 100 blocks. Like, I think the max you could fall to half a heart was 101 and 102, but I just say 100 because that's easier. But that's pretty insane. So that's basically meaning I could jump on top of that mountain and survive. I may be able to jump off, well, probably not that, but basically you can jump really high. So let's see how much damage I get from 22 blocks. Again, lose 1.5 hearts. That's how it works. So yeah, this enchanted gear is pretty nice. I don't think I'll ever die unless I'm a complete moron, to be honest. And that is all the enchanted gear. I forgot to mention that what infinity does, and I should explain a bit more about the swords. My mistake. What infinity does on a bow is it makes it last forever. Basically, if you have one arrow, that one arrow lasts forever. You know, if I fire with a regular bow, you'll notice this goes down in stacks. However, if I use it with an infinity bow, what happens is that it lasts forever, aka infinity. That's what infinity means. Pretty self-explanatory, just like everything else. That's one nice thing about the enchantments, except Mending. Mending has always been confusing. Punch 2 knocks them back further. And then on the swords, let's take the Life Starter Sword 2.0. One nice thing feature is, and this also works for flame on bows as well, but fire aspect actually lets you get cooked meat if you kill an animal. For example, if I go over here, I believe there's an animal farm here somewhere. Right here. So if I use this, you'll notice that drops meat. Cooked meat. So if you kill a mob with a normal diamond sword, it doesn't actually cook it. So this is a really quick way to get food, the best value food, I should say. So it's really just kind of like a speed run type of thing. If you're ever bored and hate getting food, then just run around your mob farm that you create, or animal farm, I should say. Or just roam around your world and get it. Anything else? Anything else that I need to mention about these enchantments? I forgot to mention a fishing rod, but it's self-explanatory. Just get luck of the sea. Ignore lore unless you want a ton of fishes. Fish? Is fishes? Fish? What's the plural fish?
Fishes.
Fishes? Okay. As you guys can see, it's starting to melt because it's becoming daytime. So it's kind of like we're playing Don't Break the Ice, only the ice breaks no matter what, and you sink and drown and die. But which is a much more intense version of it, but it's still kind of fun. But yeah, anything else that you think I should mention, Schlegel?
Um, Sounds like you covered everything, really.
Do you have any questions that someone else may have?
No? Maybe Silk Touch.
I already talked about Silk Touch.
Oh, you did? Well, never mind.
Alright, well, I guess that covers everything. Alright, well, I'm going to do a jump cut here to going back to playing solo. Thank you so much, Schlegel. I appreciate it. I know how much you love standing there and letting me hit you and, I guess, making a forest. But, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Alright. See you guys in a sec. Alright, so I organized this chest by things that I would recommend leveling up or the amount of value. So it goes from order from left to right, this being the best gear, this over here being the worst gear. Now, again, it's very dependent on your style, whether you're focused on just playing a normal survival world, whether you're playing a survival world with friends, however you guys fight each other and have PvP. So obviously it's up to you to decide what ultimately is the most valuable. This, from my experience, is what I would recommend. So the first thing and most valuable thing, and I'll explain why, is this: Unbreaking 3, Mending 1, Fortune 3, Efficiency 5. Now, the reason why I say that this is the most valuable thing you can get is Fortune 3 increases the amount of loot you get from valuable stuff such as diamonds and coal and all that good stuff. So it's a great starting thing to get you started and set up for the future things. Silk Touch is also great because if you're a miner and mine constantly, it actually frees up more space, because instead of getting like 10 pieces of redstone for mining one ore or whatever, what you can have is just the redstone ore itself and then save it for later and then maybe mine it with Fortune 3. So these two are, I would say, is the most valuable. Next thing I would say, I'm actually going to rearrange these. I don't know why I did it that. I would say a sword, just to protect yourself from your friends, to protect yourself from mobs, etc. A sword is pretty important. The next thing I would say is an axe. And the reason why I say an axe is generally you're always going to need wood. So many recipes in Minecraft need wood, or you just kind of want it because it's good for building houses or need a crafting table. And it would just be nice to have an efficiency 5 axe just to shred through all the wood and collect a ton. That's why I would make this the fourth most important. Fifth is a bow, and the reason why I would do infinity before I would do mending is simply because whenever you start off the game or start off early, you're not going to have a ton of arrows, I would assume. So infinity is really good to start off on, and then once you collect more arrows with this or with your sword or whatever, what you can do is easily get mending and then not need to worry about arrows. Next thing I would do is boots. This is extremely valuable, and that's because it's armor. And on top of this, feather falling is extremely good, especially if you're building at high heights. If you're with water, it makes you move way faster. Boots is 100% recommended. Enchant them first. Trust me, you want to enchant them first no matter what. The next thing I want to get is helmet because it works really well underwater. If you're not really playing too much underwater, I wouldn't really worry about it. But as for me in this world and some of my other worlds, I do play underwater or around water a lot, so this is really useful. This is pretty simple. This is self-explanatory. This is up to you. I would start with a chest plate first, actually, and then get leggings because it gives you a bit more armor. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can read that, but this gives 8 armor. This gives 6.0. And then the next thing I would do is shovel. The reason why I would save shovel for kind of last out of the main core tools is because efficiency 5 is actually mind-blowingly fast, and some people think it's almost too fast. At least for me, I think it's a little too fast, but I've never really needed to mine that much dirt before, so that's why it's kind of lower on the valuable enchantment tier. One thing that I forgot to mention, going back to the boots, is you can substitute the, what's it called? Where is it? I don't see it on here. Depth Strider for Frostwalker if that floats your boat, but I personally prefer Depth Strider. But Frostwalker is really good for groups, as I previously stated. Next thing is the sword. It's the same thing as this sword, but without the knockback. Again, I would just recommend the knockback and knocking that out first because it's more valuable, and more people would think, oh, it's more useful because knockback is somewhat useful to people. I just personally don't prefer it in my personal preference. So I would get this as well if you want it, because this is really good overall, and if you don't like knockback, then this is great. Next thing I would do is the bow, as I previously stated, with mending, because you should have arrows from collecting from this as well as this, and you won't need to worry about arrows. Next thing is a hoe. This is not necessary. Hoes are cheap. Hoes are easy. You can just make them out of wood, and it would be the same valuable thing. However, if you have so much levels, so many levels, so many enchanted books, I can't speak right now, then might as well do this, right? Shears, again, not something necessary. You can even craft shears in your inventory with 2 iron ingots. They're really not that valuable, but again, if you have it, might as well enchant it. That's why this is at the bottom. And you have this here. The reason why I put this underneath this is because chances are you're not going to really be hunting exclusively for Enderman constantly. I plan to eventually make an Enderman farm, which is why I made this, so I can just get this and get a ton of looting and a ton of damage with it as well. So yeah, this is how I would value my enchantments. This is just my personal preference. Again, you're entitled to your own thing, and you should debate, maybe I prefer a bow because I want to keep my distance or something. That's up to you. This is just my personal opinion and what I would recommend to the average Minecraft player. Anyways, though, hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is something that, you can use in your own worlds. I know that this has been done before. Like, this isn't the most rare, thing that no one has ever talked about enchantments, but so many people to me, while I've been building this, and in the past of streams have been talking to me enchantments, like, what does mending do? What exactly is efficiency and stuff? And it surprises me that a lot of people don't know it. So I'm just kind of spreading the knowledge. I'm very well aware that this is something that many YouTubers have done for the game being out, but this is something that I thought was necessary for my personal audience, and who knows, maybe you learned something, and if you've never watched it before and this is your first time watching something about enchantments, then hey, clearly what I did was working with the intention that I had. Anyways, though, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Oh, also, one more thing, just in case, I'm actually planning to start streaming around July 5th. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Throat's still kind of sore, but I'm feeling pretty great as of this moment, so we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, stay tuned for that. I really want to stream, especially because it's summer. It's always 10 times more fun streaming in the summer compared to the school year and work year, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, though, again, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it, and I will see you later.